Welcome to the Behavior Code. Today we're talking about something profound.
Profound is a big word, Gabriel. You don't just throw that around.
It is, and I mean it. Here's a statement for you, Maria, and for everyone listening. Most people will live their entire lives, from birth to death, without ever realizing one fundamental psychological truth about themselves. I do. Because today isn't about small tweaks or life hacks. We're going to the very root of the human experience. We're talking about the fundamental mechanism that governs every decision, every feeling, every outcome in your life.
Whoa, okay, that's a heavy start. One truth, and we just miss it?
Completely. And understanding it, well, the title of this episode is This Changes Everything for a Reason. It's not hyperbole.
All right, I'm hooked. You can't just leave us hanging there. What is this truth?
The truth is the realization that you are not the one driving the car. You think you are, you feel like you are, but you're actually in the passenger seat. Well, before we get to the truth, we have to talk about the illusion that keeps us from seeing it. It's a bit like we're all living in a movie that we think we're directing, but we're actually just actors reading lines we don't even know we've memorized. Exactly. It's the subtle things. Why you feel a sudden wave of anxiety when your boss sends a one-word email. Why you always seem to date the same type of person even when you know it's not good for you. Why you can't seem to stick to a workout routine. These aren't random failings, they are the results of specific programs running under the surface.
Okay, so who's driving? So this illusion of control, it's not just about big life choices, but the small, everyday things? The things we think are just our personality?
Your subconscious patterns are, your habits, your old programming. They're at the wheel, and most of us never even look over to see what's really steering our lives. We just assume it's us.
That's a powerful image. The illusion of control. I think everyone feels that, that sense that we're making all these conscious choices every single day.
Exactly. But what if I told you that 95% of your decisions, your reactions, your emotions, they're all automated? They're just programs running in the background installed years ago.
95%? That seems impossibly high. So my choice to have tea instead of coffee this morning wasn't really a choice?
It might have been, but it was probably influenced by a dozen subconscious factors you weren't aware of. But think about the bigger things. Think about this. Have you ever driven home from work and you pull into your driveway and you have almost no memory of the actual drive? It sounds high because we are so identified with our conscious mind, the narrator in our head. But think of the brain as a massive corporation. The conscious mind is the CEO giving big picture directions, but the subconscious is the entire workforce, every department running the day-to-day operations. The CEO might decide, we need to increase profits, but the subconscious is what actually makes the sales calls, manages the supply chain, and designs the products. It handles breathing, blinking, walking, and it also handles your emotional reactions and ingrained beliefs.
Oh, yeah, all the time. It's highway hypnosis, right? It's kind of scary when you think about it.
Exactly. But ask yourself, who was driving the car?
My subconscious, I guess.
Right. It ran the drive home program perfectly. And that's a simple mechanical example. We have these programs for everything, for how we react to criticism, who we find attractive, how we handle stress, what we believe we're capable of.
Wow, okay. So where do they come from, these patterns? They're just there?
They're installed mostly in childhood, based on our early experiences, what our parents taught us, what society told us was safe or dangerous. We build this complex operating system to navigate the world. And then by the time we're adults, we forget the system is even there.
So, like, if you had a parent who was very critical, your program might be, I must be perfect to avoid criticism and be safe. Is that the kind of thing you mean?
We think the operating system is us. We call it our personality.
So you're saying my personality is just collection of programs That's a little bleak.
In a very real sense, yes, it's a set of pre-recorded responses. And the great illusion is believing that you are consciously authoring those responses in real time. You're not. You're just playing back a recording.
Okay, this is honestly, it's a little depressing, Gabriel. If we're all just robots running on old, buggy software, then what's the point? Are we just stuck on repeat forever?
See, that's the beautiful part. You're not stuck. And the way out is, it's almost insultingly simple.
Okay, I'm listening. Give me the simple answer.
The core insight, the one truth we started with, is this: pure awareness is curative.
That's it? Awareness? What does that even mean?
It means the moment you become truly non-judgmentally aware of a subconscious pattern as it's happening, it begins to lose its power over you.
Just seeing it. That's it. You don't have to fight it or, I don't know, do affirmations for 30 days or analyze your childhood for 10 years.
Nope. In fact, fighting it and resisting it, that's usually just another program. It's the I must fix myself program.
Right.
Think of it like this. You're in a pitch black room, and you keep tripping over a chair in the middle of it. You can curse the chair, you can try to memorize its location, you can get angry at yourself for being so clumsy.
Or you could just turn on the light.
Exactly, and see the chair. Once you see it, clearly, you naturally walk around it. You don't have to try. The awareness itself changes the behavior instantly.
Okay, let's make this real with an example. Say I have a pattern of getting really defensive whenever my partner gives me feedback on something, even if it's small. But is it really instant? That sounds too good to be true. I mean, people spend years in therapy trying to change behaviors. Are you saying they just needed to notice it?
Classic one. Many people have that. That's a fair question. It's not that therapy isn't valuable. It's immensely valuable for understanding the origin of the programs, the why. But understanding why you have a pattern and changing the pattern are two different things. Think of it like a computer bug. A software engineer can spend weeks figuring out why a certain line of code is causing a crash. That's the analysis, the therapy. But the actual fix is often just deleting or rewriting a single line of code. The fix itself is instant. Awareness is the act of seeing the line of code and realizing you can just delete it. The behavior changes the moment you truly see it for what it is, an impersonal program rather than a fundamental part of you.
Right, and normally they say something and before I even know it, I'm making excuses or turning it back on them. It's like this automatic reflex.
That's the program running. The code says, if feedback equals true, then initiate the fence protocol.
So you're saying if in that moment, right as it's happening, I could just notice it? If I could have a little thought in the back of my mind that says, oh, there's that defensive feeling again. My heart rate is going up. I feel a strong urge to argue. That's enough?
It's more than enough. It's everything, because in that split second of noticing, you've created a space. You've separated yourself from the program. Now there's the defensive program, and then there's you watching the program.
And the watcher has a choice. The robot doesn't.
You've got it. The freedom is in the space between the stimulus and the response. Awareness is what creates that space.
This connects to so much, though. It's not just in arguments. Think about success or confidence. I know people who are brilliant, but they have this subconscious belief that they don't deserve success. So they procrastinate or self-sabotage right when they're about to get a big break.
Yes, the upper limit problem. Their internal thermostat is set to a certain level of success, and if they exceed it, the subconscious kicks in to cool things down, to bring them back to the familiar, safe level.
So if that person could just notice, oh, I'm about to send this important email and suddenly I feel an overwhelming urge to go clean my kitchen.
Exactly, and to see it without judgment, not, I'm procrastinating again, I'm so lazy, but just, oh, how interesting. There is the self-sabotage program running. It's trying to protect me from the fear of success. Just seeing it like that, it's a game changer.
It takes the emotion out of it.
It makes you an objective observer of your own internal machine. Think about confidence. Most people think confidence is something you have to build up like a muscle.
Yeah, fake it till you make it and all that.
But true confidence is actually a subtraction, not an addition. It's the absence of insecurity. And insecurity is just a program, a belief like, I'm not good enough or people will judge me.
Right.
When you bring awareness to those thoughts, when you see them just as old recordings playing in your head instead of fundamental truths, they stop being so powerful. And what's left when they fade away? Natural, effortless confidence. It was there all along.
That's a really powerful reframing. It reminds me of people who have a fear of public speaking. They tell themselves, I'm terrified of being on stage. But the fear isn't the stage itself, is it? It's the program running that says, if I am judged, I am not safe.
Precisely. The stage is neutral. It's a wooden platform, but the subconscious links it to a primal fear from our evolutionary past, the fear of being ostracized from the tribe. In the past, being judged and cast out meant death. So when you step on stage, that ancient program screams, danger, your survival is at stake. And the conscious mind, which doesn't understand this, just feels it as overwhelming anxiety. But by seeing the program, this is the fear of ostracism program, you create that space. You can then say, thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm not actually going to die if this presentation goes badly.
And it's not just about fear, right? It's about even positive things. Like, I have a friend who is almost compulsively generous. She'll give away money she doesn't have, promise time she can't spare, and on the surface, it looks like a wonderful quality. But for her, it's a program, isn't it? The I must please everyone to be worthy program. So what does that feel like, that moment, the turning point, when someone really gets this for the first time, when they stop being the program and start being the watcher? Is it like a lightning bolt?
That's a fantastic example, Maria. It's a perfect illustration of how programs aren't inherently good or bad. They're just mechanisms. And a program that might have been helpful in childhood, like, if I am helpful and please my parents, I will receive love and safety, can become destructive in adulthood when it runs unchecked. Her conscious mind wants to be healthy and have boundaries, but the subconscious driver, the need to please, is flooring the accelerator in the opposite direction. For her, awareness would be noticing that compulsive yes rising in her throat, feeling the anxiety of disappointing someone, and in that moment, creating the space to say, let me check my calendar and get back to you. That's a huge victory. It can be. For some people, it is a sudden, profound aha moment. It feels like waking up from a dream. You suddenly see all the strings that were pulling you, and you realize you can just let them go.
Like in The Matrix, taking the red pill.
It's a perfect analogy. You see the code. For others, it's more gradual. It's a slow dawning. You start catching yourself more and more. At first, you notice the pattern after you've already done it. You have the argument, and then an hour later, you think, oh, I did that defensive thing again.
Okay, that feels more realistic.
But that's the first step. Then, with practice, you start to catch it while it's happening. You're in the middle of the argument, and the observer wakes up. And maybe you can't stop at that time, but you're aware. And then, eventually, you catch it right at the beginning. You feel the spark of the emotion, the trigger. And because you see it, you have that 1 second of space. And you can choose a different path.
That's the turning point.
That's the turning point. It's the moment you realize your thoughts and emotions don't have to control you. They're just weather patterns passing through the sky of your awareness. You are the sky, not the weather.
I love that. The sky, not the weather. Because the sky isn't affected by the storm. It just contains it. It's always there, calm and clear behind the clouds.
Precisely. And that realization that you are the container and not the contents, that changes everything.
Okay, so for people listening who are having their minds blown right now, what are the practical steps? How do you start cultivating this awareness?
Great question. It's simpler than you'd think. I'd say there are 3 main shifts to practice. First, name it to tame it.
Okay.
When you feel a strong emotion or urge, just mentally label it. Instead of being lost in anger, say to yourself, this is anger, or there is the urge to check my phone. The act of labeling creates that crucial separation. It externalizes the feeling.
So you're not, I am angry, you're, I am experiencing anger.
Exactly. Second practical shift, get curious about your body. Our subconscious patterns live in the body as physical sensations. That defensiveness we talked about, it's a tightness in the chest, a heat in the face. Procrastination is often a heavy dread in your stomach. So instead of getting lost in the story in your head, drop your attention into your body and just feel the raw sensation. Where is this in my body? What does it feel like? Don't judge it, just feel it. This grounds you in the present moment and pulls the plug on the mental story.
Okay, so name it to tame it and get curious about your body. What's the third one? That's a big one. So often we try to think our way out of a feeling, but the feelings aren't in our thoughts, are they? They're in our bodies. It's like trying to fix a car engine by reading the owner's manual. You have to actually get your hands on the engine.
The third is to practice mindfulness in the small moments. You don't need to meditate for an hour a day. Just pick one routine activity, like brushing your teeth or washing dishes. And for those 2 minutes, just be fully there. Feel the bristles on your teeth. Taste the toothpaste. Feel the warm water on your hands.
You're training your attention muscle.
You're training your attention muscle so that when the big emotional moments happen, you have the strength to stay present and aware instead of being swept away by the program.
When you practice this over time, this awareness, it feels like it's more than just changing a few habits. It sounds like it changes who you fundamentally are.
It does, because you realize that what you thought was you, your personality, your reactions, your limitations, was actually just the program. It was just the accumulation of your past.
Right, your identity.
Your identity, exactly. And when you practice awareness, you start to disidentify from that collection of patterns. You realize you're the consciousness that is aware of the patterns. You're not the anxious thoughts, you're the awareness of the anxious thoughts. You're not the anger, you're the space in which anger can arise and pass away.
That's a massive psychological shift. To go from I am an anxious person to I am a person who sometimes experiences anxiety.
It's the difference between being in prison and looking at a prison. It's freedom. Your identity becomes much more fluid, much lighter. You're no longer defined by your past because you can see that the past is just a collection of stories and programs.
So you literally become a different person.
You become the person you were before the programming got layered on top. You reconnect with a deeper, calmer, more authentic self that's been there all along, just waiting quietly behind the noise of the automated mind.
And it can be a little scary, can't it? To let go of that. Our identity, even a painful one, is familiar, it's known. The idea of becoming someone new, someone undefined, that can feel like stepping off a cliff.
It absolutely is. And that fear is just another program, the stay safe by staying the same program. It's a survival mechanism. But the beautiful paradox is that by stepping off that cliff, you don't fall. You find out you can fly. You discover a sense of freedom and possibility that was unimaginable when you were confined by the rigid structure of your old identity.
Wow. Okay, we've gone deep today. From being a robot on autopilot to realizing we're the sky behind the clouds. That's a huge journey.
It's the most important journey anyone can take, I think. The inner journey, because it changes your entire experience of the outer world.
So, as we wrap up, what's the one thing, the one call to action you want to leave our listeners with today?
Just for today, I invite you to become a curious scientist of your own experience. Don't try to change anything. Don't judge anything. Just notice. Notice the urge to grab your phone. Notice the flash of irritation at a coworker. Notice the tension in your shoulders.
Just turn the light on.
Just turn the light on. Your only job is to watch the machine. And what you'll find, perhaps to your great surprise, is that the machine starts to run very, very differently all by itself once the watcher is awake.
That's a beautiful place to end. A powerful invitation. So, be the watcher. That's your homework from this episode of The Behavior Code.
Thank you for joining us on this exploration.